Look, man, the relationship with 50 Cent started in 2006, and it's crazy because when I fought on the undercard of Oscar De La Hoya versus Floyd Mayweather, Floyd was like always around 50 Cent at that time, you know what I mean? And so, like, when we were at the weigh in and everything like that, I remember trying to get a photo of 50 Cent and his bodyguards was like, nah, man, step away. You know, you're with the opposite team. Hell no. You know what I mean? I was like,
Yeah.
man, I'm just trying to get a photo of 50. Just calm down, dude. It's all good. I don't even want the photo. Forget it. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
the next day, I fought a guy by the name of Jose something, right? Like, and he was the former IBA champion, and he was a tough Mexican. You know what I mean? And so, you know what? They have monitors set up in our change rooms, and like you can watch the fight on the monitor, right? And so I was fighting just before the telecast of HBO, and so they still had the fight up on the screen. Floyd Mayweather was watching the fight supposedly because once he got out of the ring after beating Oscar De La Hoya, I was standing outside of Oscar De La Hoya's change room, and here's Floyd and 50 Cent walking past me, and so and so I swear to you, this is no word of a lie. On my mother's life, this is exactly what happens. Floyd Mayweather's got a film crew with him, and then he sees me. And he's like, "No, stop for a second, yo, kid." And I'm like, "Me?" And he's like, "Yeah, you." And he's like, "You're the future of boxing, man." And I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, I seen you. I seen you fight on tape, man. I seen you fight. I was watching it in the change room. I love your elusiveness and the way you move. You remind me a lot of Prince Nassim, man. You just need to do a few things, make a few tweaks. You're gonna be champion one day." And I'm like, "Really, Floyd?" And he's like, "Definitely, man." And he's like, "How long are you on contract for?" And I was like, "I got 2 years to go with Golden Boy." And he's like, "Make sure you call me when you're free, when you're a free agent." And I was
Wow.
like, "All right, cool, man." You know, I didn't really buy into it. I was like, "Whatever," you know what I mean? But I was like, "Hey, 50, do you mind if I get a photo?" He's like, "Yeah, absolutely, man." And then I took a photo with him. And then my dad took a photo with him. And I seen the bodyguard and I was like, "Told you I was going to get that photo, man." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so, you
man.
know what? In 2012, no, no, sorry, 2011, I'm in the ring, right? Or 2012, I should say, I'm in the ring. Yeah, it's 2012, and I'm in a tough fight, man. I'm in a non. I'm still champion of the world, but I'm fighting in a non-title fight. But my title is still on the line because if I lose, the governing body said that they'll strip me of the title. You know what I mean? So I'm fighting this Mexican, and the fight gets tough and it's getting down and dirty, right? And so then my brother comes up to the corner. He's like, "Listen, man, win this fight because I need to talk to you about this. There's something big on the line. You gotta win." And I'm like, "I'm gonna win, man. Don't worry about that." And so I shut this guy down. I won the fight. And then I get out of the ring and I'm telling my brother, I'm like, "Man, what do you got to talk about?" He's like, "Go on your holiday. And when you finish from your holiday, I'll call you and we'll talk about it." I'm like, "Just tell me, man." He's like, "No, no, go on your holiday first." So I was set to fly to Dubai the next day. I was meeting up with Prince Nassim in Dubai. So I'm in Dubai after spending 10 days with Nassim in Dubai. My brother Imad rings me. He's like, "Look, man, I need you to get on a plane and go to Vegas as soon as possible." And I was like, "Oh, shit, I'm not doing that, man. That's a terrible flight." And he's like, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I'll just come home, man, because I need to get a few things sorted out." So what's the issue? He goes, 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather want to sign you up, man. And like they need you on a plane ASAP. So the next morning I was on a flight back to Australia. And then the next day, me and my brother got on a flight back to Vegas. So we fly into LA. Then we land in LA, then we get to Vegas. And when we arrive into Vegas, Floyd Mayweather has been incarcerated for domestic violence.
Yeah.
For beating up I think his girlfriend or something like that, right? And so
Yeah.
Floyd Malva is no longer going to be at these meetings. So his 50 Cent has somebody, a driver, pick us up. And then the driver comes to the hotel and he's like, "Oh, 50 Cent's going to come pick you guys later up tonight." You know what I mean? So I obviously, I'm tired, but I'm like I'm on edge. You know what I mean? I can't wait to meet this
Yeah.
guy and I want to work out what's going on. You know, these guys want to sign me up to TMT. You know what I mean? I'm going to be part of TMT. It's like going to be mind blowing. You know what I mean? And so then 50 Cent comes over, and the first thing I said to 50 when I seen him, I was like, "Hey, 50, do you remember me?" And he's like, "I sure do, man." And I was like, "Where from?" And he's like, "I remember you from the change rooms outside of when Floyd beat Oscar." And I was like, "Man, you got a good memory, bro." And I was like, "That's so cool." And he's like, come on, man, let's go. We had a Rolls Royce, a Bentley, and a Lamborghini. So he was like jumping the Lamborghini with me. I was like, no way, man. He's like, hell yeah. He's like, one day you're gonna have one of these. It's gonna be your car one day. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, this is crazy. You know, so here I am. I'm standing on. He's like, stand on the seats with your belt. You know what I mean? I'm like, come on, you sure 50? He's like, yeah, get up, man. And so I got these mad photos with 50, and then we went out, spent the night out together and whatever. We had a chat and this and that. Then the next day he says we'll talk business tomorrow. So the next day he comes over and he's like, listen, man, we want to sign you up on a 3-year deal, you know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, man, this is like a dream come true. And he's like, we're going to give you a bonus up front. And we're going to give you some things and whatever. And so, you know what? Like, he gave me $100,000 bonus. He gave me some, he bought me a car. Like, they gave me a really nice contract, man. A really, really nice contract. I was like, I'm set for life, man. You know what I mean? I was like, this is going to be the changing point in my life and I'm going to be set forever. And it's crazy, man, because just as good as it was and as good as it and as quick as it happened, it fell apart just as quick. Because like the minute Floyd Mayweather got out of jail, I remember speaking to Floyd on the phone and he was like, look, man, just give me a few days to get myself situated and we're gonna get going. And I was like, Floyd, I want to be multiple time world champion, man, and I need your help. I'm gonna be one of the greats to come out of Australian boxing. He's like, and I'm gonna help you do it. And you know what? The biggest detriment in my life was Floyd Mayweather, man, because it's so crazy because signing the contract with Floyd Mayweather and 50 Cent became my biggest downfall because when 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather fell out, I was stuck in the middle because of this stupid $100,000 bonus that I had and the car that I had taken. Because they always say, don't take gifts, man, because once you take a gift, you're locked in, you ain't getting out. You know what I mean? And so when Floyd Mayweather and 50 Cent started falling out, 50 was like, if you want to go with Floyd, you need to give me back my 100 grand in the car. And I'm like, man, look, there's a situation with the cars that when you buy a brand new car, you take it back to the dealership. It's not worth shit. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to pay you for the car. I don't really have that kind of money to pay for that car. And he's like, well, you need to speak to Floyd and get Floyd to cough out the money. You know what I mean? And him and Floyd started falling out. I was stuck in the middle of this terrible beef. And then, you know what? In the end, I was pretty much forced to go with 50. You know what I mean? I had no choice. And 50 was like painting this amazing picture. He's like, listen, I want you to imagine this. I want you to imagine a concert, a music concert / boxing event. And I was like, yeah. He's like, I'm going to come out to Australia and I'm going to do events. I'm going to do like a concert. And in the middle of the concert, I'm going to like stop the concert and have a boxing fight. And you're going to be that one fight that happens on the night. And he's like, we're going to make a ton of money. So I was like, man, this guy sounds like he knows what he's talking about. You know what I mean? So like, let's just see how it goes. So then next thing you know, he sort of goes back on his word. He's not going to do these concerts. And now he's going to try to get me on TV shows and whatever. And so then he rings me up and he's like, listen, man, I got you, $250,000 to fight against Jason Velez on the undercard of Miguel Cotto versus Austin Trout in New York, Madison Square Garden. I'm like, far out, man. That's going to be big. I'm like, I'm down for that. I'm down for that 50, And as quick as I got on that show and started preparing and I went into camp and everything like that, one day I wake up in the morning and there's like 1,000 tweets on my phone and messages and whatever. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on, man? And like, I read the tweet and the tweet said Billy Dib been taken off Showtime card. I'm like, what the fuck for? What have I done? Anyway, so then I ring 50 Cent. I'm like, man, what's going on, brother? And like, what's the situation? He's like, look, man, I got some bad news for you, man. Floyd Mayweather's, spoken to Showtime, man. They've taken you off the card, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, man. So Floyd Mayweather basically had me blacklisted from Showtime. You know
just
what I mean?
because you're one of 50's boys.
Yeah, because him and 50 were going back and forth and they were like bickering at each other and whatever. And then, 50 was like, look, I got my kid on Showtime and this and that and the other. And what are you going to do about it, Floyd? And Floyd was like, well, let me show you what I can do about it. So he rang up Showtime and got me off the card. You know what I mean? Stephen Espinoza came out and said, oh, look, we're tied in with Floyd Mayweather and we got to do the right thing by the company, whatever. Anyway, it's long story short, man. Floyd Mayweather basically dicked me, you know what I mean? And like, after that, everything was just so like volatile, man. Everything was ugly, volatile. It's like at the time, ESPN was cool, but it wasn't really that big, you know what I mean? and they weren't paying the kind of money that I was, was contracted to get.